First question. Why do you play Deathrun over all the other mini games that you have choices to play?
Well, I like Deathrun more because it's just moving around and jumping. And jumping and running was just always my thing. Like, I always loved parkour. Before I played Deathrun, I actually played parkour a lot. I also made like my own parkour maps and done jumps on them. And yeah, it was just such a good time to like learn. And yeah, I just got better and better over time.
So did the parkour come from YouTube inspiration, or was it just that you stumbled across a map on the internet? Like, how'd you get into parkour?
Well, I just like built the jumps myself. Like, I would just get blocks and just jump and just just build, and I would just like learn what parkour was, and I'll just search it up on YouTube, like what is parkour, and I'll just watch videos too.
So is it realistic parkour that's really inspired you, or is it game parkour?
Game parkour.
Okay. I was getting a little bit lost there, but we're good. Back on track. So how do you find shortcuts to say? Because personally, I see stuff like the shortcut on Terminal, and I'm just mind blown at how somebody could find that out. And I think you know what I'm talking about, where you go from the TNT to the lanterns. Like, how do you find those?
Well, at first, I wouldn't learn them. I would watch other people, like So Untouchable and all that, like Hanasard, get low times before I learned those maps. Like, after watching them getting a really good time, I practiced where to leap and like how to get good times, because they're really good, better than me actually, and they influenced me a lot.
So you're feeling like you're more of a grinder. You're not as skilled of a player.
I'm skilled, but I'm also a grinder. Like, I usually learn how to, like, where to go, what shortcuts to take. I learned that from So Untouchable first. I don't do it myself first.
Okay. So you kind of just sit and wait for those tutorials to come out, and then you're like, I'm about to apply that, and you just slap it down.
Yeah.
All right. That's basically what everybody else does, except you can execute it better and more efficiently. All right. Moving on to the next question. How do you get good at the new maps? Is it the same way that you learn the shortcuts, or is there another way?
Well, you see, you just become good. Honestly, you just become good.
So it's just a simple put time in, you get results out type deal?
No, I just like know already what to do, so I just deal with it, and it's just like it's the same as usual.
Alright, so what are the skills that you apply?
So usually what I do is I just hold W, like I just hold it. I don't tap it. Like, I don't stop and tap. I just hold it. And then I also don't stop tapping my spacebar. Only if there's like a jump, because obviously you need to jump and let go of your spacebar because there's a jump. And so yeah, I basically just hold W and spacebar.
Any movements with the mouse either, or do you keep your hand still? Like, unless there's a turn.
I try to be smooth as possible, but sometimes, like, it can be very tricky because sometimes I can hit the walls, and it can be very frustrating because it just ruins my time.
Basically, you've got a few situations where you just hold down, but if there is a slight challenge in your way, you do just let go. Simple as that. Sounds routine. Sounds pretty routine. All right. So, yeah, it seems like you could easily apply that to every single map. All right. Going along with types of movements, what movements do you utilize to stop yourself from dying?
So whenever the deaths like activate the traps, like for an example, if it was like a water trap, I would just be AFK because that wouldn't kill you in the water. And sometimes when they activate traps, I just go back so I don't get killed. Sometimes when I'm going for like a really good time, and then like I just make it to the finish and I just get killed by a death. Sometimes I don't realize that I'm being killed by the death because, I was going really good. So yeah, that can be very frustrating. And sometimes I can dodge the traps, sometimes I can't. It just depends on what run I'm doing, like if it's good or bad. Like sometimes the deaths can be very annoying because they can target or like cross team and all that, and yeah. But sometimes they can be newbie and just let you go.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I feel you. Basically, it just depends person to person, but what would you say is your most useful tactic out of all the ones that you just gave? Would it be going backwards, like you said?
Honestly, yeah, because there's not like enough water traps, so it would be better just to go back.
When you're saying go back, does that mean totally like stop and take a U-turn? Or is that like go in, like dip your toes in and then jump out? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, like if you're running and there's a trap, you have to just turn around and run back so that you don't get killed. It's pretty simple.
Sounds pretty routine. Basically, you've got your stuff down. How do you play when there's other leaderboard players in the lobby? Is it same business as usual, or do you need to change up your strategies rather than when you're just kind of pub stomping?
I just play as how I usually play, but sometimes I can be more like sweatier. Like I can be very rushy and like I don't focus on the deaths as much as I usually do.
Yeah, you're more just thinking in your head of those world record.
I'm thinking in my head, oh, I want to beat these players. I want to be the first one to finish. I don't care about like how long it takes. I just want to rush it.
It's more like a trying to get world record run because you already know those players know how to do it as well type deal.
Yeah.
All right. That definitely makes sense. So basically when you are against a better player, you need to apply the better skills. Sounds about right. Speaking of better players, if you want to be one of those players, how much time do you have to sink in to get top 10 on the leaderboard? Because I myself dedicated about 3/4 of a month and I didn't even get top 25. So how much do you spend to get number 1?
Okay, well, honestly, this might sound a bit crazy, but honestly, about like the whole day for like 10 hours just non-stop playing. I don't know how I do it. And then sometimes I can take breaks where I just watch like one YouTube video and I go back for like the whole night.
All right, so this is practically a full-time job for you, my man. 10 hours a day playing this game, day in and day out. And that's from day 1 to day, whatever the last number is, 30, 31, 28.
No, well, sometimes I can like take a break on the 25th or 26th, you know what I mean? Like, it's not exactly on the last day, because sometimes I want to, like practice for the next month and like just be ready so I don't like die from lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to take a time off for like 5 days.
So with leaderboards in mind, when are people more active? Is it at the start of the month, the middle of the month, or later on in the month?
The start of the month.
Start of the month, because they get to have their names up at the front potentially. They're like, oh, I've got 20 wins and I'm in first. Oh, is that how it is?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like sometimes I want to get like 500 wins on the first of like the month, 500 wins, and then whenever I go to sleep, like the second player on the leaderboard, they have like 200 wins, and then while I'm sleeping, they'll have like 500 wins. So they'll be up to where I am. So like that's kind of why I need to get 500 wins in a day. It's so I don't like go down more, you know? I just want to stay up the top.
Do you feel pressured when you drop below top 3 on the leaderboard? Like, do you feel pressured like, oh, I need to play much more? Or do you just stick to your usual routine?
I just stick to my usual routine. Like I just stay the way how I want to grind. Like I just don't stop, you know? I just like feel like it's the same as any other day.
Yeah, you really love this game, don't you, my man?
Yeah, I do.
All right, that's been the extent of my questions, Sam. So do you have anything you'd like to ask or anything you'd like to say?
subscribe to the real Ed too.
Ah, yes, 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 yes. Subscribing and hitting the bell notification button. Yes. What a great idea, Sam. What a great idea.
Smash it, otherwise I'll beat you in Deathrun. You don't want that to happen.
All right, all right. Sam might throw a death run round for you. He might just throw you. He might give you the dub. If you subscribe, hit the like button. Now I'd like to thank you, Sam Creaming, for coming on to the channel, doing this interview. You've given some real good insight on the Death
You're
Run
welcome.
community, and I hope some people get inspired by it and play this great game mode. It's been a real one. Peace!